So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in whenever you are watching this. For anyone that doesn't know who I am, I'm Lucy. I'm Ellie's mum, founder of the Ellie's Gift Project. And I'm here today with the wonderful Vidyamala Burch. And we'll be making some introductions very soon. But just to kind of put you in the picture in terms of what this little session is all about is that it's the very first day of our official book launch, and this book, which is here, so it's Ellie's Gift, a mindful approach to grief and baby loss, and it's an 8-week self-help course. Sorry, it's going in and out of there on the camera. And this is available now to buy on Amazon. And this week we are doing a virtual book launch just to make some noise about this absolutely wonderful and vital resource that people have already found helpful. And this first session is just to set the scene really, and to introduce you to a little bit about how this project came to be. And this is, of course, why Vidyamala is here with us. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy listening to this introduction to this very exciting chapter of the Ellie's Gift project. So, hi Vidyamala, thank you so much for joining.
Hi Lucy, lovely to be here. Hello everybody.
Yeah. So the reason why Vidyamala is here is because, I mean, obviously Ellie's Gift was developed because of the loss of our own daughter Ellie back in 2017. And none of this would be here without Ellie, but the book itself wouldn't actually be here without Vidyamala. And just to put a little bit of background context to how I came to find Vidyamala is when Ellie died all those years ago, and I was trying to figure out how to piece myself back together in some kind of way. I had already had an interest in different ways to help support myself over the years, being a mental health nurse. I've looked into relaxation and breath work and other different forms of meditation practices. But after Ellie died, I really wanted to try and find something to support myself. And I just was, Googling everything, and I came across the Breathworks approach. And of course, Breathworks is what Vidyamala develops. The whole kind of concept is because of Vidyamala. And Vidyamala came to develop Breathworks because of her own traumatic experience. So Vidyamala, do you want to share a little bit about your kind of background and where everything all started?
Yeah, thank you so much, Lucy. And just hearing you talk, I can feel so many resonances. Ellie's Gift has come out of your experience of, really tragically losing Ellie. And Breathworks came out of my experience of having very severe spinal injuries as a teenager, which was a long, long time ago now, 50 years ago. And so I developed chronic pain and disability when I was 17. Struggled for many years, and then eventually, after about 10 years, I was taught to meditate when I was in hospital. This was in New Zealand, where I was born and lived at the time. And it was a very significant experience where I realized that I could use my mind, that I could train my mind to help me cope with the pain and the distress and the disability and so on. I think up till then I hadn't really thought, oh, I have a mind. It's so interesting, isn't it? I was just kind of living my life. But the idea that I could kind of turn my awareness back on itself and investigate what I did with my awareness was a complete revelation. So I went on to train in yoga, learn yoga and meditate very intensively. I moved to the UK in 1990 and I lived in a meditation retreat center. So I did loads of intensive retreats and just really kind of, sometimes I call it mining my mind, mining my mind. And I think I often say to people now is, every single thing, every single experience that we have is mediated by the mind. It's such an interesting thought. Everything is sort of filtered through awareness. So I currently think, this is the most significant and important thing we can do really, is to harness the power of our own awareness. And when I say awareness, I also mean the heart. It's not just the brain, but it's mind in the Buddhist tradition, which is where I did a lot of my training, and where a lot of mindfulness tools that we now offer in lots of different contexts in the West, lots of secular contexts available to everybody. It does come from these sort of Eastern roots where mind is it's definitely not the brain that we see it as the West, but as mind and heart together. So the whole kind of mental emotional continuum is what I mean when I use this word mind. So I trained and I trained and I did begin to find a different relationship to my suffering, to my pain. And after many, many years, I thought this would be amazing to offer this to other people. I sort of felt ready. And one of the things I'm quite pleased about in terms of my own life journey is I've generally waited until I'm ready before I take the next step. So I didn't want to be teaching others until I really felt I could do that authentically, from a place of genuine learning in my own life. So anyway, around the late 90s, I thought it would be interesting just to see, had I learned anything that will be of use to other people also living with pain and disability. I did a little pilot course and people seemed to find it helpful. And while I could see they found it helpful. So that gave me confidence. And then I got a very small grant from the Millennium Commission in 2000. So that's a long, long time ago now, 25 years ago. That was aimed at disabled people that want to contribute to the community. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's me. I'll apply for that. And I got this very small grant. And yeah, that very, 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 very tiny beginnings. My office was a desk in the corner of my bedroom. It was, I don't even think I had a laptop at that point. So, I had my little petty cash purse and I had my little book to do the accounts. And I had one woman who helped me out very, very part-time. She was fantastic. And then, yeah, just gradually built. The grant meant that I could run about 4 courses, I think, initially. Started gathering data. Then I was joined by Gary and Sona, who were good friends and very experienced meditators. They joined me in about 2003, I think. And then we formed the charity. And then we realized, 3 people in Manchester were not going to meet the needs of something like 1 in 3 people, 1 in 4 people in the UK live with chronic pain. There's millions of people. So we couldn't do very much really as 3 people in Manchester running 4 courses a year. So we decided to become a teacher training organization and to teach others. And now I think we've got something like 700 teachers in over 40 countries. I've written 3 books, and one of the things I feel most satisfied with is people like Lucy who've come along, done the course, and then gone away and adapted it for your community, your lived experience community, which is people experiencing baby loss. So it's deeply satisfying for me and deeply moving what you're doing. And how both of us, we've had something very, very difficult in our lives, and we're hoping to turn it around to help other people, which is it is helpful for others. I know that from what you've said, and I know Breathworks is very helpful for others. And we also benefit, don't we? It's helpful for us. Like my life is improved massively through doing things for other people.
Yeah.
So it's what you call a win-win situation all round. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's a privilege to be here tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, do you know what? Absolutely. It's just so lovely to hear your journey. I've heard I've just, I've heard your story so many times from different things I've listened to and different things I've watched, but I never get bored of it because I just think that, having gone through my own difficulty, I know that our situations are completely, different. But what we're talking about here is suffering.
Mm.
Um, and, to go through something and to be able to authentically touch that and then to transform it, not to dismiss it or, not to kind of sugarcoat it or, like what do people sometimes call it, like toxic positivity.
Mm.
Um, it's not about that. It's about really being able to touch that suffering and to recognize that within that experience, there's lots of different elements and there's different things that we can connect with, and within the experience of suffering, there's also joy within that in some ways, in some places. And I always talk about, in the context of grief, I kind of describe it with me personally. It's kind of like when Ellie died, I had this mirror and it shattered into 1,000 pieces. And through the practice of mindfulness, I'm slowly picking up little pieces, bit by bit, placing them back in some kind of fashion. But, kind of meeting that with acceptance of this is who I am now, and this is one part of my experience. And I'm going to look at this deeply and be with it and hold it with compassion, though, with kindness and as best as I can, and recognizing that that's not an easy thing either.
No. I mean, I think it's so interesting, isn't it? Because we're definitely not Pollyannas saying, "Oh, it's all fine," because it's not fine. It's been really, really hard for both of us. And, suffering is universal. Every single person who's listening to this, you're going to know what we're talking about. There will have been difficult things in your life. It won't have been what we experienced necessarily, but, in large or small ways, we all have hard times. And it's a very universal experience. So we're touching into something very human, very universal. It can strip everything bare, and then you look out the window and there's a sunset, and your heart breaks open with the beauty of that. So these things, they kind of just pare you down. And then, there's the tragedy and the suffering, but there can also be the beauty and the love and the awe and the tremendous kindness that we can experience in difficult times.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know that you talk about holding everything in one bigger container, and we can hold all of it. And I remember when I first came across that, like holding all of it, to, because being aware means being aware of now everything, not just the things that I want to be aware of, but everything. And with that brings difficulty, but also in the real kind of touching that the difficulty, I can also open myself up to the beauty as well, because I'm suddenly wide open in
Exactly.
wasn't before.
Yeah. And what I used to do for the first years after my injury is I went into a kind of denying phase where I wasn't willing to look at it. I suppressed it. I pretended nothing had happened. I tried to just lead a normal life.
Yeah.
But when I look back, it's a little bit like in the suppressing of the pain, I was also suppressing my ability to experience anything sensitive. It's like I'd edited out a whole band of sensitivity within me. And I wasn't so aware of the pain, but I was only half alive. So looking
Yes.
back, I wouldn't really want that experience again. Now, yes, I'm more aware of the painful things, but I'm much more aware of the beautiful things, and I feel alive.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
want. I want to feel
Yeah.
alive. And then I can also empathize more, because
Yeah.
to the extent that I'm in touch with all of life within myself, I can then recognize that in others.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. That is exactly it. And sometimes people think of mindfulness like switching off. And I always say, no, we're switching on, we're tuning in, we're tuning into life. It's, we spend so much time half asleep, but like open your eyes kind of thing. So I think, it's just incredible. But of course, it can't be understood unless it's experienced, and which is what's really exciting about this book, because obviously the course that I did with yourselves was originally for stress, and then as I was going through the Breathworks course as a participant originally, I really recognized some synergy around the concepts of what we were talking about, and then applying that to grief. um and that really really helped. And then there was some time, I think it was maybe a year or two later that I decided to do my Breathworks teacher training, because I remember I remember I remember really thinking I really have to test this out. I have to, like, do these practices and see how they make me feel. And then I felt so kind of so excited about it all that I thought, no, this is, I want to show this to others. And then did my breathworks training, and it was such a wonderful time to do that. And then, of course, I spent some time teaching the course for stress and for pain. I did that for a little bit. But then I just kept thinking, you know what, actually, we can adapt this to baby loss. And of course, then we were given the opportunity from yourselves. We were successful in obtaining some seed funding, which Breathworks were able to give us a small amount of funding to be able to run a pilot course. And I'm so grateful for that, because that really was the beginning of where we are now, because we were able to use the funding to pay for instructor time and venue time to be able to test this out to see, well, actually, is this going to be adaptable within this context? And if we can try it, can we try it in some safe parameters and test this out? And I'm not surprised, because it was great and it worked really well, and helped people. But when because obviously you guys, you're able to offer the seed funding out, and then of course you came to do some filming, to do a video of what we were doing. But what was it like to hear about the Ellie's Gift story, in terms of how Breathworks was now helping a project like ours?
Oh, it was just amazing, Lucy. Incredible. So, Breathworks, we started off really tiny, and, we're a charity. Charities, small charities like us, doing this kind of very social work for social benefit. We're not rolling in money, but for a few years we did have enough money to be able to have this little seed funding pot, as it were, and people applied, and we went through a selection process, and your project was successful, along with a few others. And for me, it's just deeply, deeply fulfilling. It's kind of full circle. I got a tiny bit of money to start my project, and then I worked really, really hard, as you have, as founders. They're love projects, aren't they? They're passion projects, and we're certainly not in them for the money.
No.
And 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 then, and really it was not much money that we gave you, from a small expression of faith and confidence in you. That's what it was, a small expression of faith and confidence in you. We were able to give you the start, the seed funding, for you to then develop the project to the point where now you've got these trainers, you've got this app that's being used, you said, in 40 countries for people who are
Yeah. Yeah.
experiencing baby loss.
Yeah.
Amazing. You've written this book, you've designed this course, and it's basically the Breathworks course with some adaptations. Well, that's brilliant. That's what I want people to be doing. I want this work to be going out into the world in all kinds of ways, and for people to be creative with it. And
Yeah.
all, and as long as the primary motive is always, how can we help people with integrity,
Yes.
and for it to come from that very sort of pure aspiration to help, which it
Absolutely.
clearly does with you. So
Yeah.
for me, the fact that I'm sitting here talking to you now is so moving and so satisfying, and I feel so grateful to you. I feel so grateful to you for all the energy and effort you've put into Ellie's Gift, and, a memory of your daughter, and you're helping these people all over the world is incredible. So for me, I've been part of a team that's been able to give you a little bit of money, but my overwhelming emotion right now is gratitude to you for all the work that you've done, and
Yeah.
all the people that you've helped.
Yeah, thank you. That means so much. You guys, you kind of gave us that, that little bit of a lifeline to say, yeah, test it out. And it was just, I remember getting the email and it was like, yes, we've been successful. We're gonna do it. And then after the pilot, we were able to run a couple more pilots, because then that gave us the evidence to get a little bit more funding to run a couple more courses, because we were able
Mm.
to say, Breathworks have done this, these are the results. Can we have a little bit more to do some more? And then, of course, now, I mean, we have, they're in demand. We have NHS Trust all the time contacting us to say, can you run another course? And, when's the next one on? And people waiting and things. And the reason why the book came about was because we were running these courses and people didn't have like any handouts. Like we'd not developed anything to give to people. So every week we was running these sessions on in person for some, but then we decided to go online because it meant we could reach more people.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I just, you know, I kept saying, yep, I'm gonna put it into some format, and then this format ended up being a book. So the book itself, it holds the course within it, but then around the book and the other chapters, there's things like at the back, there's like a whole section on mental health support. There's a section on stories from other bereaved parents. There's a section on Ellie's story and our kind of mine and my husband's journey and things. And then there's other kind of self-help parts and signposting parts. So it's a whole kind of it's a great book just to be able to give to people to work through independently if they want to, because the recordings are on the Ellie's Gift app, so they go with the app kind of is to be used with the book.
Perfect.
Well, the reason why the whole thing is even here is because of you guys, because it's essentially your program, but it's been adapted and not too much, but just to be applied to this specific context. So yeah, I'm really grateful to you guys because, and I always say this when I teach, you know, this isn't my brain, this isn't my stuff, okay? Like we are just, I'm here to share with you this, which has its foundations in so much, and even through, you know, your kind of development of the Breathworks course, through your own exploration of knowledge and practices which are so old and ancient,
Thousands of years old. You know, it's not like I invented mindfulness. Mindfulness
this is it.
there have been people in contemplative traditions, you know, who have sat for millions of hours on their backsides, watching their minds and freeing their minds, and then teaching other people how to do that. So we're just continuing that great long lineage.
Oh, absolutely. So it's really exciting, and it's a little bit what do you call it? Sometimes I can't believe that the book's actually been written, because it's something that has been
Well,
done.
it's a tremendous achievement writing a book, and it's a lot of work.
And in my own time around the busyness of life, and I'm just really relieved that there's a version of the book here now that we can actually give out.
Well
So
done.
it's really exciting, because what we're going to do with the book is, so the idea is it will be sold on Amazon, but every copy of the book sold, the money raised from the book sales will go directly back into Ellie's Gift, and that money will then fund future mindfulness courses for families, and continue to fund the development of the Ellie's Gift app. So, you know, it's not kind of used to pay for big fancy hotels or,
Of
you know,
course.
all this stuff. It's one of those, we wanted it to be able to help us to get this out into the world, but then to also bring some donations in so
That's
that we
really
can.
good. And that's quite interesting because there's so many resonances again. You know, when I started off at Breathworks, I didn't pay myself. But with this initial grant that I got, one of the things I did is recorded some audio tapes, some cassette tapes, thinking we can sell those and that will fund the next development. So it's exactly the same, you know, exactly the same.
That's it.
Really old-fashioned little audio cassette.
Not like that now, are they? No. But you know, I actually I think I do have like a Breathworks CD somewhere amongst all my things.
Yeah, well, the CDs were the second generation. The
Oh,
first
okay.
generation was a little old cassette. But that was quite clever of me. It was like where I've used a tiny bit of this grant just to create some sort of something I can then
Yes.
sell in order to fund the next development of the program. So you're doing exactly the same thing. It's tried and tested.
Yeah, so fingers crossed, you know, from the sales we'll be able to fund more things. So but also as well, what I really want to just shine a light on is the fact that you guys are going to be funding the first batch of prints to our first ever hospital unit. So we want to donate the first batch to St Mary's Hospital in Manchester, which is where Ellie was born. And those books will be given to families for free on the unit. And the idea is, I mean, obviously, when I think back to after Ellie died, you know, the last thing I was thinking of at the time was jumping straight into a book. However, the idea is that the midwives will give these books to families, and at some point when the time is right, they might just pick it up, and they may well just work the way through it and find that these practices help them.
Exactly. And as we were saying, you know, often when we're in the middle of very intense suffering,
Yeah.
we're stripped bare and we'll take something in more
Yes. Yeah.
because, you know, everything is it's kind of raw and pure and immediate. So this book that they're given, it may be just the right thing at just the right time. So
Yeah.
we're absolutely honored to fund the first print run.
Yeah.
Go to the
Yeah.
hospice. Yeah.
Yeah. We're so
Yeah.
grateful. We're so grateful. And for anyone watching this, if you want to also, buy a batch of copies of books for a local hospital near you. Maybe you want to do something for Ellie's gift. Maybe you want to do something in memory of your baby, in something meaningful. Then, this may be something that you also want to do in funding a batch of books to send to your local hospital trust. So, it's a really exciting time for everyone here at Ellie's Gift to be able to send this out into the world. And we know that this book will go on to help many people for many, many years.
It will.
It really will. And that's the really beautiful thing about written word, is that, that the copy is it's there. I mean, I've got
Absolutely.
too many books, and I keep buying more books.
It's funny, just last night actually, I had this book, quite an innovative book on chronic pain. It's been sitting by my bed for about a year. And
Yes.
just yesterday, I thought, oh, look at that book. And I read it cover to cover.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
time was right. It was interesting.
It's interesting, isn't it? How, yeah, because I've got some books. I've got one that I really want to pick up, but I'm just not picking it up.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's Falling Awake by John Kabat-Zinn. Is that one of his latest ones? It's
I'm not sure. It sounds like it could be. Yeah.
yeah, so it was bought to me by a friend, but it's a funny thing with books, because I think books are I think the time has to be right, doesn't it? When
Yeah.
we want to pick it up, we will do.
Yeah.
So
And then, as you say, they're there forever. So it's
yeah.
wonderful, wonderful what you've done. So you've said that if people would like to fund some of these books for different hospitals, how do they go about letting you know about that if they want to do
Yes,
that?
yes, absolutely. So they can send us an email.
I think we're paying for 100, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So
So
let me put that out into the world if you want to match that. and
um
uh, and fund 100 or for your
yeah,
local hospital, let Lucy know.
yeah, thank you. So yeah, you can send us an email, and you can do that through our ellies.gift website. Or you could just purchase them yourself on Amazon, and you could deliver them yourself to the unit. It's up to you how you do that. Um, but obviously, we're so grateful for every book sold, because it's just that beautiful loop of helping people out in the world, and then that then comes back so that we can help more people, and blah blah blah. It just goes round and round and round. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I think that kind of draws our connection to a close, really. But I just want to say, Vidyamala, thank you so much again for everything that you've done and continue to do. And yeah, it's just really, really special to connect. I have admired you for many years. And yeah, I was really excited to be able to have some of your time. I was a little bit nervous actually before we came on, but I'm feeling okay now. So
Good, 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 good. Well, it's been really wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I've admired your work. And
thank you.
hopefully, you're on the Ellie's Gift website. Have you got a link to the little video that we made about your work? Because
Yes.
that's a gorgeous little video. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So and we will be sharing that video on our socials this week as well. So Breathworks funded a video to go with the seed funding project of the mindfulness grief project that we ran. And it's a beautiful video. So well filmed. It's not very long, it's only like 5 minutes or so. But yeah, it's on our website to watch if anyone wants to watch that. We have a section on the mindfulness courses that we run. But also, as I said, we will be sharing that as well. So
good. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much, and really good luck with everything. And it's a wonderful project that you're doing. Yeah, I was sharing with Lucy earlier that my sister lost a baby, and so yeah, it's very close to my heart as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching. And yeah, keep following our live streams this week. And please do send us messages if you've got any questions. And as always, thank you. Take care, guys. Bye.